Avatar Aang, The Last Airbender is a movie with a profound message. After dozens of years, we are finally joining Avatar Aang again, and now he, along with all the other characters, are adults, living to build Republic City, a safe haven for all. But Aang is harboring the survivor's guilt of being the sole air nomad left alive, an extreme burden that pushes him to go forward and find any possible way to resurrect the air nomads and bring airbending back into this world. Because again, as he's rebuilding this integrated world, airbending is not a part of it. His culture remains missing. However, when he unearths this mysterious airbender named Taga, they plan to work together to bring back the air nomads. But unsurprisingly, Taga turns out to be the villain and resorts to violence to express his airbending superiority. Aang then rejects the idea of violence, defeating Taga and forgiving himself. He knows that violence is never the answer, and those who have been tremendously hurt do not have the right to exert their power over anyone else in the same way that they were treated in the past. Aang understands that if you have suffered in your life, if your ancestors have suffered, that does not give you a right to go and be cruel to anyone else. Kindness is the only way we break this cycle of violence and hate. And the airbending nomads prioritize kindness and empathy. And so when Aang finally defeats Taga and learns that he can bring the airbending culture back, he just needs to do it in the way that he was taught, with kindness, empathy, and the sharing of cultural values. That is what Avatar Aang wants to showcase as its primary themes. And the question is, does that make a good movie? And the answer is yes, those themes are amazing. But the problem I have is those themes are already what we've seen with Avatar The Last Airbender. When Avatar The Last Airbender premiered in 2005, it followed the arc of Aang traveling all the way after the genocide of the air nomads to defeat the Fire Lord at the end. But he would not go against his morals, his teaching and culture that he had been instilled with the air nomads, a culture of peace. So then, at the end of the show, rather than killing the Fire Lord, he chooses a path of non-violence. Again, understanding that non-violence is the only way to move forward and break this cycle of hate. Which is a profound message for a TV show, and it is the exact same message of Avatar Aang. The movie rehashes the same exact messaging that we have heard previously. Worst of all, if you remember the episode of the Northern Air Temple, the one where the Earth Kingdom refugees are inhabiting the Air Temple, Aang comes to the realization that the Earth Kingdom refugees are, in a part, promoting the culture of the air nomads. Those inventors and the gadgets and the overall love for all things air is what is being shown in that episode. And Aang comes to the realization that they are not ruining it, they are celebrating it. And that's what it means to keep the air nomads alive, is to celebrate in their culture. And that is the same exact message that Aang learns again with this movie. To which begs the question, is this nostalgia enough to make a movie good? And unfortunately, that is where the movie fails. When it comes to Aang, we learn in Legend of Korra that he starts to become hyper-fixated on bringing back the air nomads, so much so that he prioritizes his son Tenzin over his other children. We know this because the characters are still angry about it as they are 50 years old. The truth of the matter is, Aang becomes self-absorbed in that mission to restore that culture. And we see that self-absorption in this movie because it only prioritizes him and his feelings, which is why it is so important for the movie to showcase the other characters, like the Denied, who are constantly feeling persecuted against for not having any bending powers. But the problem with the movie is it doesn't learn from that moral. It doesn't learn that the movie should focus on other people interacting with the Avatar and working on a path forward. It just focuses on Aang's self-absorption, something we already know from Legend of Korra, which is why even with the gorgeous animation, amazing music, and just fantastic fight scenes with some pretty good voice acting, the movie doesn't bring anything new. And that is what so many people are feeling with this movie, including me. I don't think it's a great movie unless you know everything else about Avatar, because the movie relies on your nostalgia for the other characters and for this world, because it doesn't introduce anything new. With the entire gang, no one has any development at all. Katara's flame feels extinguished. Zuko is hot, and that's kind of it. Toph is still the earthbending master. Sokka is honestly, Sokka's pretty good. But it feels like they're just rehashing the same old jokes, the same old themes, the same old meaning that we have ascribed to this series for a long time. It does not grow out of its childhood phase. It is still there. And that is the biggest problem I have with this movie. Nostalgia to make a movie is not enough. There's only so much fan service you can put in a movie until you realize you forgot to put a substantial plot in there. And again, I'm not saying the plot is bad. Those themes are so prevalent. The cycle of breaking violence is something we need to hear today, because everywhere across the world, people who have been harmed are perpetuating a cycle of violence against other people who are in imbalances of power, just like how the denied feel at the start of the movie. But that idea for Aang is something he's learning over and over again, and it doesn't add anything new to this universe. Yes, it is an important theme and meaning that we should know and understand, but that is where the movie ends. There is no extra information, and honestly, if you take this movie completely out of the Avatar canon, nothing changes about it. It doesn't add anything else. This movie would have benefited greatly with 15 to 30 minutes more time expanding upon the characters, showcasing their dynamics now that they are adults, or just showcasing more of the world. How dare they reduce the Kyoshi warriors to just a cameo? How dare they just kill every single one of the characters by Taga's hand, and then Kantara goes, yeah, I just revived everyone. That there's no consequence there. There's nothing. It's like I was like, what? What do you mean you all died and then came back to life? There was no real growth to this movie, and that is the biggest problem. It heavily relies on your ideas of these characters and of this world, and it plays on your nostalgia to get you to feel this emotional connection, which again is a good thing. These characters and this story is fantastic, but it doesn't grow anything substantial beyond that. And I think that is my most disappointing take from this movie. Again, if they had expanded upon it, perhaps it would have been an even better movie. But at the end of the day, Aang learns the path of violence is not the one he should follow, just like as he learned before, and just like as he will learn again. The only thing that it expands upon is that it showcases an airbender who can resort to violence. It showcases the contrast between him and Taga. And Aang understands that he cannot be like him. He cannot follow that same path, otherwise nothing would get done. And flexing your power on the powerless is a stupid folly. Why would you do that? It gets nothing done except excite more hate into the people who deserve to be part of your society. And as the Avatar, Aang has a responsibility to make the world a better place. But I am very interested to see what they will do in Avatar 7 Havens, because seeing Korra become the villain and that whole plot, that is something I am excited for. That feels like it's going to expand upon something entirely new. But unfortunately, for the Avatar Aang movie, it just felt like a rehashing of the same exact themes that we've all come to love. Is that a bad idea? Is that a good idea? Does it really make for a bad movie? Honestly, I still enjoyed watching it. I wished I got something more from it, but I would love to hear what you all think about it down in the comments. Do you agree with me about this, or do you have your own take? Did you really love the movie? I love hearing people love this movie, because this movie should have been celebrated, especially in theaters. What are you thinking, Paramount? Why are you shafting the Avatar series so often? It is just a fantastic series. Why would you not put this movie in theaters? It was gorgeous. Even if it had problems, it deserved to be on the big screen. Gorgeous. And how dare you only put it in theaters in LA and New York? Give the rest of the world a chance to experience this masterpiece of animation. Anyway, those are my thoughts about the movie, and I'd love to hear what you all think about it down in the comments. Let me know if you enjoyed this video, and consider dropping a like and subscribing for more. As always, check the links in my description for my main video essay channel, and my Patreon to support the channel and recommend media for me to review. Next, thank you to all my current Patreon members whose memberships keep this channel afloat. I'm so grateful you're all here with me. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video.